Today we're reviewing an article about the use of neurofeedback in children with ADHD.
And I'm glad we are.
Yes.
Because there were articles published about this topic back in the late 70s, early 80s out of Tennessee. I'll think of the guy's name in a minute. And we were amazed that we know that ADHD is, the frontal lobes are implicated in ADHD. We've known that for years. And the studies that have been done, Thatcher was his name.
Right.
And he was the first one. He hooked up kids to EEG machines and stimulated, not EEG machines, neurofeedback machines, and he stimulated the frontal lobes, electrically stimulated the frontal lobes. And he reported that they had a reduction of symptoms.
Right.
But nobody could replicate his findings.
Right.
Now, over the years, since the late, I think it was 78 or 81, over the years, different people have tried different things, and now we have a whole industry for neurofeedback.
Right.
Neurofeedback is a little bit, it's not, what do they call it? Brain games, brain stimulation, brain training.
Right.
Okay, neurofeedback is not brain training. So when you see all those things on TV, those advertisements, but you have to exercise the brain. That's not what neurofeedback is. It's a more complicated system than that. And what this studied, and the point of me talking about Thatcher in the early studies is there were two questions. Could anybody replicate his findings? Could you duplicate what he did? And the second thing was, if you found changes in electrical activity in the frontal lobes, were they permanent?
Right.
And that's the other thing that how do you know whether they're permanent? Well, you have to run the experiment, and then every year you have to rerun it to make sure that the gains are permanent. So it's very expensive research to do because people tend to move or drop out or lose interest, and so you lose participants. So it's always been very difficult to know, A, does this really work? And B, if it does work, do the improvements last?
Right.
Do the reduction in ADHD symptoms persist over time?
Right. And so in this year, 2018, a meta-analysis,
Great way to do it.
A research study of research studies, an analysis of analyses, published in the European Journal of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, tackled this and said, yeah, it looks like it's pretty good.
It looks like the changes endure.
Right.
And that has always been a question because these technologies are not cheap.
Right.
They require an investment of time and money. And if they're not effective, or if the changes don't endure, then we would caution parents not to do them. There are a lot of proposed treatments out there, especially for ADHD, that are not effective, or they're not. They don't endure. They don't last. And so we have to be careful about recommending things. We believe in neurofeedback, and one of the reasons we believe in it is because of these kinds of studies. They've been done. We've been following this literature now for about 30 years, and because we were hesitant at first, we sort of take a more conservative approach to such things. We don't jump in right away. So we've taken sort of a cautious approach to make sure that the technology really is effective, and apparently it really, really is.
Right.
And we're beginning to do some neurofeedback with in our clinic.
Right.
And we hope to expand this area ourselves because now we're confident. And this study increases that confidence. When you look at 10 studies and all of them sort of point in the same direction, it's pretty good evidence that there's something real going on here.
Right. Yeah, so they looked at 10 studies, a total of 500 participants, which is good.
Which is very good.
That's a good size for a study of this kind because it's not like, not to minimize it, but it's not like you're just giving them a medication or something. In some of those studies you can get hundreds, if not thousands, of participants each. But this is a study where people are going to have to come in for sessions over a period of time, and then you're going to have to follow up with them over a period of time. And so anytime you're including time lapses like that, you lose participants. And so this is actually a really good analysis.
Right. To have 500 participants gives you a rich, reliable set of data. The investment in time comes because it takes multiple sessions to get lasting results.
Right.
Okay, you don't get a change with 1 or 2 sessions.
Right.
So the technology that we're going to be using is 20 sessions.
Right.
The technologies they used range from 20 to 40 sessions.
Right.
And or something like round numbers,
25 to 40.
25 to 40 sessions. And each session can last anywhere from 30 minutes up to, in this case, it lasted up to 40 or 50 minutes.
50
right.
minutes.
So again, different technologies will have different parameters. So it's really not a big issue. So, but it takes multiple sessions, about 20. So if you have a child or an adult, it works with children and adults, you have to come in once a week for 20 weeks or twice a week for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So it is an investment, and it is a commitment that you have to make. Yeah. And then you have to go through the procedure, which is not a taxing procedure.
Right.
In our technology, you're actually watching a video, and your brain is responding to the video.
Right.
Okay, so you just have to sit and watch a movie, which we like because kids get to pick their own movies, and so they're engaged in the process.
And I like watching movies.
And well, I like watching documentaries. Remember, we did the technology, and Berney chose
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Great film.
And I chose some documentary from
about
History
World War
Channel.
I or II or something like that.
6 or 8. Okay, but anyway, but you choose what you want to watch. Okay, so it's really an interesting, fascinating technology. Then the second question is, does it endure? And these studies, I think, checked at everything from 2 months post to 12 months, and found that indeed the results endure. Now, are the results permanent? The only way we're going to know is test at 24 months and 36 months and 48 months, and you may have to do what we refer to as a booster shot.
Booster sessions.
Okay, you may have to have 2 or 3 sessions just to warm it up again. Okay, but it's a fabulous technology alternative to families who don't want to use medication or who can't use medication.
Right.
We have some adults who would like to be on stimulant medication, but because they have high blood pressure or some other problems, they can't be on a stimulant. They might have heart problems or vessel problems, so they can't be on a stimulant. It's a wonderful alternative for them, effective and easy enough to do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not very invasive. I mean, you can just come and sit down in front of a computer, watch a movie, and it's not too bad.
Right. You hook up a couple. You paste. You don't hook up. Every time we say hook up, it's like drive a nail in your head.
Plug it in.
Right. Right. So no, you paste 4 electrodes on your head, and that's what measures your brain activity.
Right.
And then the machine responds to your brain activity. There's nothing going into your brain.
Right.
It's measuring what's coming out of your brain, and then the computer screen changes based on what's coming out of your brain. So it's really a fascinating technology. We'll talk more about this, I think, in the next few weeks.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, that is it for today. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, and forget to be afraid.